Welcome, everybody, to the Leadership Excellence Podcast. Today, we're joined by Mark Fujiwara, an inventor, facilitator, community builder, and he's working at the intersection between leadership, purpose, and human transformation. Mark is the founder of an exclusive mastermind community where their highly aligned leaders come together to focus not just on business growth, but on who they are becoming. His background spans investment banking, capital formation, strategic partnerships, and his work today is grounded in ikigai, mental fitness, and values based leadership. So that's why he caught our attention. After stepping away from traditional finance, Mark chose to work only on deals and with people that truly resonate with him. He brings together entrepreneurs and founders who are searching for a meaning beyond success. Mark weaves concepts like wabi sabi, kaizen, authentic presence, and purpose driven growth into his work, helping leaders embrace challenges and connect with what matters most. He is also the author of a book on exit entrepreneurs, exploring life after the win and the search for a deeper purpose to life. Mark is currently on his journey to becoming a certified Harada Method practitioner. He's almost at the end of his journey, actually. And today we'll explore why he chose the Harada Method and what he's learning along the way. This should be very exciting for us. This conversation is about purpose, alignment, and building a life and business that truly feel whole. Welcome, Mark Fujiwara.
It's
You
really
know,
nice meeting you, Mark.
Great to meet you, Tom. And thanks, George. I'm in about a little bit. Can you go upstairs and do an introduction for me when I go upstairs to see my wife? That was just beautiful.
yeah. I remember going to Japan with Ritsuo Shingo, the son of
Yeah.
Shigeo Shingo. And Ritsuo, Tom and I know him. He's the most amazing man in the world. Um, our world, anyways. He's gone now, but we both loved the guy. And he was doing what was called a self-introduction. And they do this. They do a self-introduction. And I thought, there's no way he should be doing a self-introduction. I thought, somebody should care enough about Mr. Ritsuo Shingo, who had 40 years of Toyota experience, and he's the son of Shigeo. He actually translated the first book on lean from Japanese into English. He was the first translator of that book. We owe him a lot. So, Mark, I owe you a lot. Thank you for being a student that has taught me so much. And one of the things you taught me was with wabi sabi, just explaining the concept, how that changed my life. I'm looking at things that are broken today, and I'm thinking, what a miracle. Let's do that. Tom, let me take the first question. What is wabi sabi, Mark? Can you explain it to Tom?
Yeah. So wabi sabi is the definition would be the embracement of imperfection, impermanence from ourselves and others. So what that means in relationship to the item that I showed you, George, was part kintsugi. So in Japan, when we break something, typically in America, we try to cover it up and make it perfect again. It's like, oh no, we don't try to make it perfect, and we want to make sure those cracks are exposed, right? So this is a metaphor for life. Those cracks are then filled with gold. We don't try to glue it back together perfectly. We actually fill the gold. So the cracks are, the more exposed the cracks, the more gold you have on this, and the more beautiful that imperfection is.
Wow, I love that. Mark, what made you think about getting into the Harada method and become certified at this point of your career?
Everything is pretty serendipitous. My mom passed away about 6 months ago, and I'm
Hmm.
being guided by her, right?
Sorry to hear that.
And no, thank you, thank you. Big blessing because it's led me to sitting here with the two of you. Well, one day I'm a big goal setting guy, and I've done all kinds of goal setting, and not really working that well. And it was almost like, okay, last year I had a year, right? Mom died, two aunts died, my daughter's good friend took her own life. I mean, mental health crisis with another kid, with another child of mine. I mean, you just both cats pass away. But through this, it's like, you know, my community said, how in the world did you reach your goal? Every year it's actually the same goal, which is to raise my ikigai in all four corners, doing something great at love, something I love, something that changes the world, and something that provides me with some sort of capital. I raised it all four corners in great extent. And it's like I kind of did the Harada method, right? But kind of this weird kind of thing where I was focusing on, and it was eight categories actually, but I didn't do the full 64. So it just so happens as I'm exploring this is one of my really good friends who's a member of my group says, "How in the world did you do this?" I'm like, I start describing to him right after the call. I don't know, this thing pops in my email. I don't even know how that happened. My assistant tries to do a lot of unsubscribing and things like that, but it's about Shohei Ohtani. And it's about George and Shohei Ohtani and how Shohei had done this at 15 or 16 years old. And I love, love baseball. And I don't like the Dodgers at all, but I somehow root for them because of Shohei, right? I'm such a big fan of his. And it's almost like I love the crossover. I'm a huge fan of seeing the crossover from Kobe Bryant's work ethic and back of me to how it transfers over to here, right? So when I looked at Shohei's chart, I'm like, he's like me. It's not all about hitting the long ball, right? It's not all about like, oh, I got to be in this, make this all this money. It's about what's in here. So then I immediately called George and I'm just like, give me all you got, man.
Oh, that's good. Look, so was there a moment early in the process where you realized this was different from other goal setting or personal development programs? If you've tried any others, maybe what was different about it?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. One was the fact that there was a lot of work to be done before you actually got to the goal setting. And I thought, and it's very important on that. There's a lot of work that had to be done before you got to the goal setting. Right. A lot of times, what do they do in goal setting? List out your 100 goals and pick the top five, and then you get the one, right? Whatever. I don't know. Tony Robbins does that. With you, George, and with this Harada method, the self-resilience questions, I mean, that really hit home because if I don't embody these characteristics, I think it's 32 or something like that, then all of a sudden this ain't gonna work. Because what I'm setting is kind of like what Ben Hardy calls an impossible goal, right? Impossible to other people. And the other thing was going through those questions, and it was almost like kind of that test of do you have what it takes, or do you start to realization of I need to raise my game, not just in this one thing, but kind of throughout. And it's not like I get 30 to the 32. It's like you got to get all 32 of this. And I love the part about working on the weaknesses, right? Working on those gaps. And so when we got to and I think it's the interaction of the coach too. It's like if you were to ask me, how in the world did you get 64 of these eight categories, right? Was because all the pre-work that was done, that middle was easy. And then all of a sudden I was like almost like watching myself. Those eight categories, remember that, George? It was like boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, 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 boom. And then the 64 just came out like that.
yeah. And it takes no time, 33 minutes to 32 minutes, and your 33 words. Yeah. So congratulations, way to go. That's a great answer.
How the method does it emphasizes structure and over motivation. Uh, and you pretty much answered my next question when you first heard about it and how it changed, how your view changed since you started it.
Oh wow. It's almost on a daily basis, right? Um, and and I kind of know why. One, it's like this is a daily. This is like, how some goal setting methods look at it once a month, right? Where you forget not only a daily, but it's on my board, it's all over the place. The 64 right now, I'm not doing all 64 every day, but I'm aware of all 64 every single day. and George has got me doing this daily diary, which at first was like, oh man, I got to do this every day. I got to tell you, man, you know this, George, every single day there's a massive breakthrough, right? It's like cracking the code of how to get up in the morning. I cracked the code on how to get up before 4 o'clock every single morning. And it's also what's led me to that is I got to tell you more conversations where I need to be in and less conversations where I don't need to be in. More conversations where I need to be in, less conversations that I don't have to be in.
Now, Mark, I'm going to just jump in here real quick. So when you email George your daily diary, um, I remember doing that with Norman Bodak,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
and uh, and Norman gave me no leeway.
Yeah. Yeah.
He would question me on everything. George, you probably went through that with Norman too, right?
Oh yeah, for a year.
Yeah.
So Norman was like, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do this daily diary thing until I
Yeah.
finally said, you know what was really funny, Tom, is I didn't have a coach, right? Norman was my coach, but I wasn't getting real feedback. So I had to go get my mentor, train him on
Uh,
the feedback I wanted first and say, here's what I'm going to send you. Here's what it is. You'll get this in the. This is how funny it is, Tom. I said, I'm going to email it to you. And he said, can you fax it instead? And I'm going, oh my God, are you still working with fax? Are you kidding me? So, anyways, what ended up happening was I trained my mentor how to coach me on the Harada method, and he helped me immensely, right? One of the things he would say is, how do you know you added value at this client, George? How do you know and I'm going, yeah, how do I know? So I never ask him when I leave, did I add value? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, how much value did I add?
Oh, right.
And I
Yeah.
started building some of that in because of his stupid questions. They were way smarter than I thought, right? At the time, I didn't understand that. Yeah, nobody knows they're adding value. Okay,
no.
so I had to train my Harada coach to be a Harada coach because there were no Harada coaches in those days. Okay, so one of the things we talk about is small actions, right? So, what one small daily action have you been working on like right now that's had a bigger impact than you expected, Mark?
One little small action, huge impact. Okay. Um, Everyone wants to get up early in the morning. One of my heroes is Mark Wahlberg, gets up at 3. I always want to get up at, so if I don't get up before 4, the day is not productive usually. If I do get up before 4, like I did this morning and every single morning for the last several days, it's like, holy moly, like it's so powerful. And so what happens? Is it waking out of bed? No, because sometimes I stay in bed at 3:45 till 6 o'clock, right? What is that thing? And so I just kind of dialed it back and I worked from backwards. 8 o'clock, I play with her, and then Amy, my wife, puts her to bed. I have two decisions here. One, go upstairs, watch 15 minutes of game, which turns into 2.5 hours, or I go downstairs, but before I go downstairs, even before I put Stella to bed, I have this nighttime concoction that makes me sleepy in about 35 minutes. Okay.
Oh,
I
right.
take that in my pocket right after dinner. I put it in my pocket. As I'm taking Stella down, I throw it in my mouth, drink the water. And so I have I can't go upstairs because I might not make it down, right? Because it makes you groggy. So it's like that immediate, I'm going right to the bedroom. Instead of waking up at 6:30 sometimes, I wake up before 4. And it's not 2.5 hours. It's massive. It is massive, massive, massive what I can do during that time.
Yeah, you've inspired others because of that.
Mark,
Oh, by the way, everything is legal. What I put in.
Yeah, I was going to tell you to get me some of that, but that was going to be
yeah,
after our
It's all
talk.
legal.
yeah, after we're done.
Yes.
Yeah. So one theme on certification is observing your behavior without judging it. What's that been like for you in practice?
Yeah, without judgment. That's been
Basically,
been,
awareness without judgment. Yeah.
yeah, it's been challenging to not judge, but it's also beautiful at the same time, because I'm starting to be aware of just these changes that I'm gonna make, and these decisions that I normally would go left, it's going right. And I think a couple of things here. Um, one is the fact that, and I think I told you, George, this. It's like I have this goal of high ikigai, and there's a dollar amount attached to it. If I go left or if I go right, if I go left or I go right, which one will get me closer to that goal? And then that immediate action, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do you take that action? And so the awareness also has created the fact that I love I love the Kaizen method of improving, right? Improving how I am and how I'm getting closer to my goal. But there's one little layer to that. What I've been loving about this is that I'm a leader to a lot of people, and I lead by example. And so any little thing that I pick up, like the sleeping thing, any little thing, it really, it's a high ikigai. It fills my heart. And it actually makes me do it even better, doing better, because this is something I share and I lead by example by.
That's so good.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, another great question here is you're part of a community now. You got a lot of people looking at you. You're a leader. I even shared with you how others have picked up your sleep routine or get up in the morning routine. So how is being in a community or this certification environment influenced your consistency or commitment compared to working on goals alone?
Well, that I think is the main driver right there. I got to tell you, George, when you shared the video of the one gentleman that I had such an impact on, I actually started tearing up, because that's a big driver of what I do. So when it comes to consistency, or I don't feel like taking the concoction before Stella goes to sleep, or I don't feel like jumping in the cold plunge, or I don't feel like doing something, it's like the more I do that, it's better for me, of course, but even more important, the more I do it, the more people are going to follow me. And it's enabled me to look for different ways of just like, oh, here are 5 different things that can just dramatically improve your day. I'm always looking for things which I can share. It's like something I did maybe uncomfortable, that led to something great, or a realization of the awareness that where I was and where I am now. It's something I could share. It's something that I can impact another life.
Yeah, very good. And that was Dr. Vance Cooper
Oh,
Jr. he's talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
and Vance is going through our app right now, and he's helping us with talking and sharing with teachers what he's going through,
Oh, that's right.
right? So this is good. And you'll be in the same app. Obviously, I'm going to share it with the group.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Vance is a very, very good guy. Yeah. A lot of fun talking to. For an identity shift, have you noticed any change in yourself uh, as a result of this process of the Harada method, even if it isn't finished yet?
Yeah. Um, I'm more confident. Um, I mean, I just had an instance where um, I needed to speak my truth, and it was an uncomfortable conversation, and it was like no question. I would hesitate before. It's like, oh, don't ruffle it. I don't like confrontation. But I've realized I'm willing to have those conversations. I'm willing to also, on the high side too, tell someone that they're doing an amazing job, how much I appreciate them. Um, Like, look, I think without the Harada method, without George's help, um, like I'm traveling to London to speak at a huge, huge conference. So, a couple of things there. So you asked about the behavioral changes and how it changed. I actually would have turned that down before. I should have made an excuse. It's a long flight. Stella's gonna be away. I actually would never ever actually ask my wife. But I'm just like, I gotta be there. And immediately I just said, honey, I'm going here. And she says, you gotta go. Because I always fear if I tell her that, I'm trying to like get out of it, right? I'm like saying, oh no, it's long. Like I'm making excuses, knowing full well I'm not wanting to go because it's uncomfortable. But that all of a sudden has become comfortable.
Wow.
Yeah, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. How terrible is that? So I will say this today. I had a meaningful conversation with somebody because of you, and as I talk to you, Mark, I'm thinking, wow, what Mark is saying is really good. Why am I not doing it? So you know, so I did say no to somebody that I made a commitment to, and I feel much better, right?
Hmm.
It's like grabbing the tiger by the tail. It feels like, oh my, you can't do this. You can't renege on your responsibilities. But what I had to do was be true to myself, right? So I can't do everything. I would never say no to Tom. That's why we're doing this podcast, right? Never. Because Tom's been there from day one. I love the guy.
Mm.
Okay, so when you've hit resistance or missed a day in doing what you're supposed to do, whether it's your routine check sheet or whatever, what has this method taught you to do differently than you might have done before?
Before, what would happen, I take my routines down, right? And I don't hit 10 out of 10 every single day. The before would have been, well, I missed a day, forget about it, right? Or it wouldn't be as important, I should say that. So like if I go 8 days in a row with jumping in the cold plunge and I miss a day, I've been like, well, that was good, right? Or it wouldn't be a priority for me to do. But it's almost like I've had those days actually where for one reason or another, I couldn't check all the boxes. But it's just like you get right back up because again, wabi sabi, right? It's the imperfection. It's the imperfection. It's just like that's fine. But what I do after that is more important. So before I would have just like it would become less of a priority, or I would kind of work it to my advantage. Just like, okay, you got to get up and brush your teeth within 20 minutes, right? Or something silly like that. Um, so yeah, I feel that that has dramatically helped. And just knowing what that center is and all the things that I'm doing on a daily basis hit every single one of these categories at least once.
Wow. What's something that you learned about yourself through the certification that you didn't expect when you came into it?
I think it's what I alluded to before. And I knew I like helping people, which is why I like speaking because I know it impacts people. But I never realized how of a high level of purpose and flow it gives me when I do something and I know it's affecting somebody else. Again, going back to George, and he's like, "Hey, I shared this." Or he asked me permission. I'm like, "You share it with the world," and then I see directly how it impacts somebody. I didn't really realize how big of a deal that was to me, and how much it meant to me, and how much that drives me even more. Um, and I knew it was a driver, but I didn't know how fierce of a driver it was.
Wow, very good. Um, that's so good. I'm thinking about how fierce of a driver it was. It would seem to me like whatever we're doing as leaders, if we get some type of validation, wow, what a difference that makes. Well, I hope to do that for you again. So, if someone is curious now about the Harada method and feels a little hesitant or
Mhm.
overwhelmed, what would you tell them? What's your overall summary about your experience so far?
Well, I just tell them, you come in here, you think it's a goal setting thing, right? For one, it's, whatever that goal is, it doesn't have to be monetary. Whatever that goal is, we all have different goals. Whatever's near and dear to your heart, and that's important. You're not going to get it with any other goal setting program or any book. There's a surefire way. what Shohei Ohtani went from zero to a billion, right? And just, I mean, he's going to be the best baseball player who ever lived. That's the goal setting you want to latch on to. But I'll tell you this, what I'm discovering with myself and the things that we're talking about now are even bigger than the goal setting in itself, are even bigger because we're not just going to the finish line and finishing, but we're building together is the ability to not only go past this finish line, but get to finish lines that are beyond this. And it's not, no goal setting workshop is going to have you, hit a goal and hit a higher goal and hit an even higher goal unless you work on here, unless you work on what's inside and you're diligent about working on cyber. Working on yourself is more important than the goal itself, because that's the only way you're going to get here. And what you've done, George, with me, in lieu of the Harada method and your methods, it's really allowed me to have not only these discoveries, but also see things that I normally would not have seen, right?
Wow. Credit to you, right? That's a big credit to you. So, Mark, do you want to share with everybody your goal and maybe if do you have your 64 chart, open window 64 chart there?
Yeah, I
If
got
you,
it open right
oh
here,
yeah,
right in
yeah,
front of
yeah.
us there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe share it and then talk a little bit about it. And if you got questions for myself or Tom, great. Tom, if you have any questions, awesome. We're going to wrap this up with a little review of how you're doing. And I know Tom's going to show up to your report out. We do a hero's journey report out. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that too, Mark.
Okay, sounds good. Um, so um, let me just get to the, all right. It's always slow when you want it to be fast.
Don't worry, I'll edit.
It was fast all day, guys. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
This happened to me last week with Tom. I'm like, oh, Tom, I'm not ready for some reason.
so in the middle, in like my goal uh for 2026, and George, you and I set this like kind of at the close of last year, was the highest EKI possible in all four corners. Doing something you love, something you're great at, something that changed the world, and then the revenue part. Now, the revenue part is ridiculous in terms of a stretch, but I did 1.2 million in revenue last year. I want to do 10 million in revenue this year. And so what needs to happen? So that I'll kind of share with you, real quick here. The biggest thing that I can do for this goal is mental fitness and training. Mental fitness and training. So my mind has to be sharp. My recovery has to be sharp. My body has to be as sharp as possible. This is like you just like what professionals, athletes do for themselves, but this is for the mind and also the body too. The other category is team developments and partnerships. Hey, George, you remember when I started this, I had an assistant that was um I don't know how to put this, really not doing their job, right? And that is all shifted in a month. It's like I found a chief strategist, I found an operations manager, I found a full-time assistant that is really embodied in all of this, right? So I'm going to take them through this whole process right here. So the team development partnerships, and then, part of it is getting in front of the right people, the lead generation. And through that, it's just everything is flowing because of things that I put in place with the team, and just the realization of going, again, George, it's like what conversations I need to be in, what conversations do I not need to be in. Deals and advisory, because a big thing flows through the types of deals I do with the right people, everybody involved. It's a big thing to me. So it's about getting enough deals from the right people, and I do all kinds of advisory work on them, not your typical wealth manager, but connecting the right deals with the right people. So it's having the source of the right people with the right investors, the right companies, everything put together. And then the revenue and cost side, like I didn't even have I was doing my own bookkeeping. Here I am trying to be a $10 million revenue um, uh, company, and I'm doing my own bookkeeping on a spreadsheet that half the time I don't know where it is. And so I got someone, and my assistant works real hard on that as well. So this is all within a month. And then again, there's structures and systems. So this is exactly, if you put it on paper, it comes to you. I think I told you that, George. I was like, oh,
You
I need
did.
someone to put all these systems in place. Ah, man, it's like gonna be all over the place. So for me to get to 10 million, I have everything has to be in a system or some sort of process, and with AI. And then a buddy of mine who runs an amazing company is like, hey man, I'm bored. Um, I need some work. Do you know anybody? And it was so obvious that I said, yeah, let me look into it. Right. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and I texted him. I was like, you're the guy. Right. And I wanted to hire this guy a year ago to be my systems guy. So he just showed up like just right after I wrote this down. So that's a big thing with systems. And then, the communication part, on the fundraising side, how do I talk to these people? And that's been a big deal too. It's part of the systems too, but just in terms of communication, in terms of also having meetings that don't last for 5 hours. It's just like we got the right people in the room. It's about, saying the right things and being on track for only 30 minutes, which normally would take 5 hours. And then the whole marketing sales part of it, which a lot of my team is actually handling. So just allowing this method allows me to actually say, holy moly, I was like overwhelmed with all these different things I needed to do, but just finding the right who's, as Dan Sullivan calls it. And then actually all of the who's, thanks to my mom, is just like it's right in front of you. Sometimes so obvious that I almost turn them away.
That's so good. So, one of the things is, look, I want to help you too, Mark, if I can. If I can, who are the right people and how do they get a hold of you?
Oh, well, okay. So the right people are typically highly affluent, um, highly affluent entrepreneurs who are who have made it or in the process of making it. It's like in the process trying to exit. Um, and they know there's something more. Okay, I tell you one thing, and this really hits home. Um, the people I really want to work with are those people that are exiting. And because because yeah, I can help them with all kinds of things. The transformation part is vital. The finding the right conscious wealth is very important too. But in a lot of cases, it's about saving their life. Do you realize I've had 12 people call me on the verge of suicide in the last 18 months, and eight of them have been exit entrepreneurs or ex-pro athletes who had more money than they knew what to do with? How about
Wow.
that? I'm lucky to sit in the mental health space, but what that's telling me and other people in this audience is that that is a misunderstood group. And when you sell your company, you lose your identity. I know billionaires who've sold their company and gone into the deepest depression when they didn't have any kind of depression. So if I can get an entrepreneur who's ready to sell or even thinking about selling, it's more about getting a lot of money through that and on the right terms. Even more important is about preparing yourself for what's happening on the other side, because on that other side is could be such a dark place, especially when you have a lot of money. Especially when you have a lot of money, because what happens, you think that buying four houses and having an amazing spouse and great children and taking vacations all the time is going to solve all your problems. And the letdown from that is so severe that it's like, is this the happiest I can be? That'll lead you into depression and suicide ideation. So I know that was like a long answer to your question,
No, and
but
and where do they go? Do they go to sanctuary88.com?
sanctuary88.com or Mark Fujiwara, better yet, markfujiwara.com.
Mark
Either one.
Fujiwara.
Um, yeah, either one. Sanctuary 88 is the community. So you'll get my funny looking picture on both of them. And you can always get a hold of me there.
That's so awesome. Okay, I'm gonna add your contact information and I'm going to add that out. You're releasing all of these great videos for our marketing. Wonderful. This is what we have to do because we do a great
Yeah.
job, but we don't do a great job of telling people what we're doing because we think for some reason, I don't know, don't let them in on the secret. The secret in this case is why not use something that works, like something Shohei Ohtani did at 15, and build your future around that. Okay, so I know Tom works with a lot of people who are depressed. Tom, you want to share a little bit about that? And also for myself, I'll never retire. I'll never say the word I'm retired because I'll always have a purpose in life, which is to raise people's ikigai, if you will, or their potential, you know. And I got to spread the Harada method as a system for everybody around the world. Tom?
Well, on the depression side, I'm a veteran from Iraq, and I have a lot of friends that are veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan, and the uh, the depression and stuff, and like you say, we're used to this going. We're used to our life going full bore all the time, right? And then we come back, and it's basically the same thing, Mark. We come back and we lose our identity. We're not the same. And so it's one thing that we lose, we leave a little bit of us there. It's another that when we come back, we don't have a purpose, and things don't move as fast as we like them to move. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of different reasons for the depression. I mean, I'm no expert in all of that. I would just say that anybody that depression is real, and we grew up thinking that if we said we had a weakness, that like if we said we're depressed, that it was a weakness, and that we weren't as strong as what we're supposed to be, right? And I've met some of the toughest people that I've ever met in my life. Um, some hard charging soldiers that came back and took their lives, and the depression is real. Um, you see them on the streets every day. You know, and like you said, with people leaving the business, that's their identity. Some of these people have done that business. They grew that business from scratch, right? And some of them have owned that business for 10 or 20 years. And that's what all of their friends know them for. That's what, they identify with. And it goes on and on. And then when they have nothing, they think to themselves, okay, well, when I retire, I'm going to go golfing every day, or I'm going to go fishing every day. And they go golfing a few times, or they go fishing a few times, and they think, okay, well, what's next?
Yeah. Call George. I'll go fishing with you.
Yeah.
But more importantly,
Wow.
this is a real problem. If it is a real problem, I know you can help them, Tom. But Mark, this is right up your alley. So talk to
Yeah.
Mark.
Well,
Yeah.
first of
Yeah,
all,
definitely call Mark.
Tom, thank you for your service. I have all the respect in the world for you protecting our country, and all the brothers too. I don't take that lightly. My dad was military, and I also know, not myself, but a lot of close friends who have walked that. I have a really good friend who is fell in a deep depression, attempted suicide 3 times, addicted to everything under the sun. And it's the loneliness, it's the lack of identity, it's PTSD in a lot of cases too, right?
Yeah.
And you're right about the company. I'll just say this. because I'm proud of him. One of my best friends is Blake Mycoskie, who founded Thomas Shoes. And if you look at Blake from the outside, and he sold his company, built $1 billion brand, all the money in the world, right? Well, when I met him, we didn't talk about money. We didn't talk about Tom's Shoes. We talked about mental health. And I'm glad I did, because he let me in on the fact that after he sold the company, he felt like he died, but he was still living. After he sold the company, he's never felt worse. He's never felt more depressed, more lonely, suicide ideation. And I'll tell you, he'll tell you the same thing. I'm here because of him, and he's here because of me. And I saw it real, and he's the reason. He's a member of my sanctuary, and that's why he hits home so much, is because on the outside, the way that people would talk about this guy, whoa, wow, he's like, why is he sad, right? Why is he hunched over like this? And it's just like, because you think about it, like where you sit, it's like it's really hard to talk about what it's like to come back from Iraq. Right? People don't get that. People don't get that. And it's the same thing with the exit entrepreneur, like especially the more money you have, the less people understand you. And so again, I go back to you, man. It's just there is that parallel there as well. And for what it's worth, the things that really help in those situations, right? The things that really help in those situations when you feel like you're downward spiraling, the two things that help, it's easy to do. One is community, and the other is movement. So let's talk about community for a while. The best thing you can do is pick up the phone or text somebody. And it doesn't have to be about your mental health. You text a friend or you just call a friend. Even the act of doing that breaks the state, right? You can call me. You can call George. By all means, you call me and you're just like, hey, it's one of those days, right? And but anyone that you can call a friend is going to pick up, and you don't have to tell them about it. You don't have to tell them about it, Tom. You could just say, hey, I want to hear your voice, man. That's it. And I got to tell you, it will shift. The other thing I will mention, that the movement is so key. And I'm building a center actually that focuses only on movement with communities, like pickleball courts and basketball courts and things that enhance togetherness. So you pair the two together. So the movement one is so key, because when are we most depressed? Are we like running? Are we out like this and jumping up and down, and we're hunched over like this? So it's like, get up, get that heart rate up so you can't talk. What does that mean? For me, is running up this hill right here as fast as I can. If you don't have a hill or you're indoors, do whatever it takes. Push-ups, burpees, jump up and down as fast as you can. Okay, you're breaking that state, getting the heart racing so that everything is flowing. So sorry, I just had to say that. I
No,
know,
no,
I
great
know.
advice.
Yeah,
Great
I
advice.
completely agree, Mark. I do. I think that's great advice. I, whenever I have a battle buddy that we talk to each other almost every day, and he was in Iraq. As I was leaving Iraq, he came into Iraq. We didn't know each other at the time. We met each other a few years back, um, but we talk to each other now almost every day, and it's funny because he might call me up or text me and say, "Yeah, man, it's one of those days." And I know, we get on the phone, we talk, and we understand each other and say, "Yeah, I know." But you're right. It's good. It's good to have somebody to talk to. If you don't have somebody to talk to, I've been very, very blessed by having friends that I can talk to, family that I can talk to, um, pets that I can talk to.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but there are so many people out there that don't have those, and they're the ones that it's the sad part is we don't they're not going to come back and say I need help. um, we've got to find them and lead them in that direction.
So I'll do this and I'll wrap it up. I'm going to say that real leadership is having like a heart of peace. and being open to helping anybody that reaches out to you, because we are talking about the most valuable resource around us, a human being who needs the help maybe one day you will need, or one day you have already used somebody. Because I know personally, I've taken advantage by reaching out. Now, one of the things I do know, it's the hardest thing. You could have a pill that says, look, here's the answer, and you won't even reach for it. So this is our call out to reach for it. I'm going to put our phone numbers in the podcast reel, or whatever I can do. You reach out if you're feeling in this mode. Mark, I want to thank you very much. Reach out to Mark if anybody falls into the category of the right person at the right time needing the right help. From Mark Fujiwara. Okay, and then Dr. Tom Lawless, as usual, thank you very much for today. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you both. Thank you.